Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's Talking Stick Show. So we are joining you in the morning of England. Usually we do our shows on Tuesday evening, but we have a guest all the way from Thailand. And firstly, I'd like to introduce the special host we have today. We have the incredible Maty the light language specialist, the
Hello,
urban
everybody.
alchemist. Hello, brother. How are you this morning?
I'm a little bit hazy after a late night, and it's a bit different trying to go from doing the evening shows and then flipping onto the morning. I woke up and I was like, oh shit, I've got to get into character straight away. So it's a little bit different, but I'm happy and I'm glad to be here.
Yes, good to have you here, brother. And we have the incredible shaman. We have Laura Massey. Hello.
Hi everybody. Hi Nalinee.
Hi.
Hello.
Thanks for waking up early.
And I'd like to welcome this week's guest. We have Nalinee Disosara back. Believe you've been on around about 4 or 5 times before. I really connect to your work, and it's so fun having you on. And welcome back to the show. Hello.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you for coming back on. So, for all of those who are unaware of what you do, Nalinee, would you like to tell the listeners just a little bit about yourself?
I at this current moment of time, I identify myself as a conduit that branches out as a channeler, a painter, and also a shaman who learning to weave the ancient memory with the new, and how I can make shamanism relevant to this new age. And that's in short. I do work with light language as well, and that's part of my art, that's part of my sound. And I also now teach people how to tune into their intuition and guide people how to step into the state of channeling as well. And that's been a nice journey to have. And I also, me and my husband, we do shamanic cacao, which is where we offer ceremonial cacao combining with our sounds to bring people back into their heart and to hold space for them to meet parts of themselves. And also we just starting introduction to dream work. We just started in Bangkok and introducing how dreams is an important realm to build relationship with, and we introduced this with the blue lily or the blue lotus. And so this is what I do.
Incredible. And I'm going to just put some images as well from your artwork onto the show as well. So here's just a few of them. Wow. Would you like to just talk a little bit about a few of them as I go through them?
That was done 6 years ago, and that was it was a funny thing because at that time Tahuti or thought would be very present within my process, and I saw this image and I started drawing it. And then I set it aside. I was going to give up and move on with new painting. And then he came and he told me, finish that one. I'm like, okay, cool. So I did. And the interpretation, the description on the story or the narrative of this painting just shifts according to when the image pops up. Basically, the foundation is Ascension as One, is the work of how Earth experience gives us the lesson of plurality and duality. And how can we be in the middle? How can we then work with the wing, which is represent the concept, the idea realm, around the crown, around the upper centers of the body, and how plurality then manifests into this physical realm through the serpent. And then later on, I also discovered that in Burya Mongolian shamanism, they also acknowledge that we have 3 essence of the soul, and there's 2 that intertwine together up the spine. One holds the records of the current biological lineage that governs the personality, health condition, and our look and our personality. Another one that holds the connection with multi-dimensional memory, hence past life, etc. And the one at the top there's a star above the crown, which I resonate it as soul star, that holds our essence of uniqueness, our essence of wonder. Yeah, and so seeing this image now, it just speaks a lot in a very different way. And when people connect with this painting, I feel that they also receive different kind of activation as they look at it.
Yeah, there's the light language on there is very dense. There's a lot of information packed into that.
Yeah, thank
you. A lot.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's hugely detailed, isn't it? Oh wow, like this piece.
Oh, this one is quite recent. This one's 2 years ago or last year, I can't remember. And it's just as a permission of myself building deeper connection with my drum, with cacao. As you can see, there's the cacao pod. And before that painting, I just recall my power animal, which is a tiger that connects to saber-toothed tiger, Siberian tiger, all kinds of tiger. So I painted that to honor that connection as well. And there's a bee. The bee speaks of my Mayan energy. I had the opportunity to work with a Mayan elder through cacao, and he guided us through different energy of their sacred calendar, and my birth energy represented by the bee. Yeah, and there's an eagle and a condor flying together.
Beautiful work. Oh, look.
that image came with a very funny story. We both had COVID, and before we were completely negative, we took psilocybin. I'm not recommending to anyone.
First time I've ever heard this when you told me that story. Someone just taking mushrooms on COVID.
I recommend it to everybody. I recommend, unless you're doing antidepressants, I totally recommend it.
It's one of the hardest things that I've done, but it did brought a lot of clearing and cleansing, deep cleansing. We were fortunate that we went positive when we settled for a little break in a seaside town. So we had ocean, we had salt air to help us heal and recover. And one morning we were just like, okay, we got mushroom, let's just sit in front of the ocean, give thanks to this whole being sick, this whole death and rebirth, give thanks to the sunrise. And my husband, he had 5 grams, I had 4 grams, and it was just like ayahuasca journey. It was hard on the lungs because I struggled to breathe with the virus, but then it brought up a lot of purging of that deep sadness, and also interwoven with joy, with realization that, you know, there's something that I can focus on rather than despair and sadness. And we, from the beach, we made our way back into a little hut where we were staying, and there were cows. And I was struggled to breathe, and the cow was just like, moo. And I'm like, okay, you're reminding me to breathe deeply, okay. So and that was like a little thank you to the cow guide that held space for us.
Wow, beautiful.
Okay, well, this was interesting. Art has always been my lifeline since young, but I had always been very shy of painting my own face. And it has to do with insecurity. It has to do with the discomfort of seeing my face and going through the structure of my face. But I wanted to paint the golden eagle to honor the connection with the Eastern Siberian and Mongolian memory of that lifetime. And I was looking online for a face that I can just borrow the structure of looking up, and I couldn't find anything. So I used my face, and it turned out to be a portrait in a way.
Wow.
Beautiful.
That's incredible.
Mm.
Thank you for that.
Wow.
That was fun.
Yeah, it was. And it's interesting as well, because the first image I saw probably about 8 years ago or however many years ago, and it holds different things for me now. Like looking at it back there, I was just like, oh wow, but like looking at it now, I see more of a pattern of the geometry, the pattern of what's really going on. Incredible, Nalinee. That's really cool. Has anybody got any questions for Nalinee about the artwork or the drawings?
No.
Well, so I've got
lots and yet no. I don't know where to start.
So with the light language and you drawing the light language, Nalinee, what are you going through as you're doing that process? Is it just kind of like what's happening within you as you're wanting to express that light language into the pictures? Because a lot of people would love to do this, to learn how to put light language into artwork.
It's I have to say that it's similar to how one begins to articulate the sound.
Yes.
That you kind of feel the energy, and you would hear, some people would hear a tone, some people would feel a tone, and the key is just to allow yourself to articulate the first syllable or the first tone and then just go with it. It's like a dance. And this is the same thing with painting light language onto an art piece. It's just very much of, okay, you feel the energy of the image, and then there is that desire just to go about and add symbols or the dancing of the hands somehow.
Yeah, it's spontaneous.
That would enhance the transmission of the energy of that image.
Yeah.
And each subject in the painting. Yeah.
Does it also give you the frequency of colour and so on? Does that come within that light language sort of download?
Yeah, I feel that that's the thing though, because it's similar to when you're speaking or transmitting light language through your voice. You don't really think about the process, and it's the same with painting.
Yeah.
You just go about it with it, and at the end you're like, oh, okay, it makes sense now. This color is doing this, that thing is doing that. Yeah, so it's very much like that.
It's giving you the whole package, the whole picture in sections, in pieces. Go on, Maty.
Sorry, Laura. The cognitive function gets in the way somewhat, so you have to put the cognitive function to the back and just allow the light to be translated through whichever medium of the skin suit is going to do it. So it's like multi. You can put it all into one.
Yeah. It's a different kind of way of channeling, really. More of a very conscious way of channeling. Yeah. That the focus is not about the end product and so much on the how, but the focus is just about each action and being fully engaged with the emotions that brings up the energies that the painter or the conduit is feeling. I'm working on a painting at the moment, and it brought up a lot of memories that brought up a lot of grief and a lot of anger, but then again there's a lot of gift within it as well. So it's multi-dimensional.
Yeah.
Like what light language does.
Yeah.
So if somebody wanted to have a go at this, what would be your advice for getting into that?
For example, first is just to set aside the idea of whether you're an artist or not, whether you're a good painter, whether you're a good drawer or not. Just set aside that idea.
Yep.
The skill that is necessarily for you will come, and you pursue that. You will know what to pursue. You will know what to build as a discipline, as a skill along the way. If you have that innate heart excitement, that desire to grab a piece of paper, a brush, or a pen, and let your hand go free as an opportunity just for you to transmit whatever you're feeling on a piece of paper, go ahead. And it's the same with the voice. If you have that desire to sing to a tree, to sing to the sun, or just to sing what you are feeling at that moment of time, do so. And along that path, whatever skill that you wish to develop, you know. Some people might go, when it comes to visual, some people might head towards more intuitive flows of color, like Kelly Nicholson, Dale, if you remember Kelly.
Yes,
more
yes.
of colors and movement and pastel. Some people might go for more of a geometric symbols. For me, I had a background of painting portraits, so that is something that I merge and integrate with.
Yeah.
And it,
Sorry.
and it reminded me just quickly of my art. When I was a child, I remember what stopped me from expressing myself in art and that creative side of me was my teacher or someone said to me, "Oh, you're not very good at art." And I remember that in year 7. And as soon as someone told me that, I stopped it and I didn't ever try. And because the way I saw art was, and like I am doing now, where I'm bringing that inner child and what I didn't connect to through the creative expression of doing the artwork, was I like to just draw, and I start going into drawings, and it's kind of like comes through me. It's like my higher soul's part of it. This creative energy's flowing through me, but I didn't really like the structure of having to draw something. I really liked just going for myself and just creating stuff what I wanted to create in the moment. So I blocked myself out from that. It's the same with singing as well. I remember looking around and there was people singing and my voice didn't sound as good. I wouldn't say as good, that's the wrong word to say. I didn't validate my voice then or who I was. So I always stopped myself from singing as well. But now I'm starting to really push myself to listen to my voice. And I'm actually going to be doing voice training, like an 8-week course of songwriting, because I have to sing. And it's like my ayahuasca, my Aya journey told me that I have to start singing again, and start being creative, being the grandmother, being this feminine side to me as well, because I lost my femininity, I think, a lot. And over the last few weeks, I've realised how much I need to express my feminine side as well.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
Need to get the womb out.
See, light language is in our DNA.
Yes.
And fundamentally, it comes down to source connection. If we want to look at it from a scientific perspective, so it comes down to source connection. So how much source light can you translate? Now, what's going to block you from doing that? What's going to stop you from being source connected? Well, doubt. First and foremost, just as you were just saying there, Dale, doubt is going to block you. So it doesn't matter how you express that light. You can't expect to be able to pull out a beautiful masterpiece like we've just seen instantly as soon as you choose to do so. And it may happen. It may happen, but like with any skill, you practice.
Well, it's also doing the inner work, isn't it? Going right back to basics of overriding all those programs, because I'm sure we've all had the same experience as Dale. I certainly have. And I joined a singing group a couple of years ago, which really, really helped, because everyone in there was very free and accepting. Because like Dale, I thought I couldn't sing, also thought, and probably still think I can't do artwork, and it's something, just listening to Nalinee now, that I really want to, pick up a paintbrush or a pastel and have a go now. We're so conditioned in our childhood and in our schooling. There's not the freedom, is there, to the range of expression that we can have at school, and it would be good to see some of that change for the kids now. I mean, your kids do, Maty, because they're...
Yes, they all speak light languages, yeah. But the importance of being able to express light language in its myriad of different forms, there is some light language that has to be sung. It just has to be sung. Like in part of my process, there's times where I have to sing my story back to myself, and that must be done in song. I call it a legacy song. And I don't want to give too much away for free, if you know what I mean, because we've got some courses coming up. But
of course now.
But the idea of
find out more.
The idea of imagery, so that there's the skills that you'll learn can be easily translated to the unseen worlds, and then it's not just vocal, not just speaking light languages, but if you can get down the fundamentals of seeing light language or manifesting it as a visual aid, then that can be translated directly to the unseen world as well. So there's sometimes where you may use light language in your visual journeys or your journeying, where you're not using language, you're using imagery and symbology, or a combination of the two, in order to empower unseen structures. So it's like artwork in the unseen that's done with the third eye.
Yeah, I often describe light language as painting energy with voice.
Yes.
It feels like that. And coming back to artwork, I still face fear and self-doubt when I sit in front of my paper and paintbrush. There's still a moment where I'm just paralyzed by self-judgment and by the thinking that I can't do this, what have I set myself up to, etc. But then it's just about coming back to that passion and be honest with that passion and just do it, and you've got nothing to lose, really. Dale, thank you for mentioning ayahuasca, because ayahuasca did also, well, during that experience,
Are we on
YouTube? Okay.
Are we on YouTube?
Yeah,
well, we spoke about psilocybin.
We've already said the big C word.
Yeah, we already have.
Said the big C word. So.
YouTube like scanning, like, how dare you say that word? I've been flagged a few times.
Oh, really? Well, that's
not
mean you're doing something.
It'll be fine saying that, but I think I got flagged one point for. It was a doom and gloom show where we were trying to like turn the frequency around on doom and gloom, and obviously, I got one of the flags on YouTube for the first time. And Andrew, we're running through his channel, the Galactic Historian, he's been given a strike, hasn't he? He got like a major strike, so he's got like one chance left. and he didn't, and I think it was light language. What did it? Wasn't it? Was it?
Yeah, and the light language.
The irony of that,
and the revocation.
The light language one.
I've had them tell me that my light language is because my light language is so different to everybody else's. I've had them tell me that my language is copyrighted. so I can't. My light language, I can't speak it because somebody else owns it. Foolishness.
Yeah, so go ahead with the grandmother, Nalinee.
Yeah, it was an experience where I finally truly felt that there's a purpose to human voice. You know, like we all know that we should sing, we should play with our voice, etc. But that was an experience where I fully felt the power of the vibration. And of course, being on Mother Aya, you would feel that. You would feel that power of your voice and the movement of the energy, and at the same time the groundedness when you allow yourself to articulate the energy that you are feeling. And when I experienced that, being in the ceremonies, I just realized also that, wow, the Icaros, the magic songs are also a form of light language, because the rhythm and the melody of the words really pump up the power of the medicine.
Yeah.
I suppose that could be said of writing as well, because I do more writing than art, so that could be a form of it's downloaded light, isn't it? I mean, it's light ultimately.
Compressed light expressed through whichever medium.
Yeah, and just turned into our limited 26-letter alphabet expression.
Yeah. And psychedelics, they're a great way. Once again, if you're experiencing if you're doing any kind of like antidepressants or anything like this, or you have done within sort of 7 years, you mustn't really be going near psychedelics. But if you're fortunate enough not to have that in your process, then psychedelics are a great way to download light languages. The last time I did mushrooms, I went from master to grandmaster. It was almost like a flick of a switch. Something just went, and then I was able to do it at different levels. So everybody has their different mediums, but psychedelics are a wonderful way, including dimethyltryptamine, a wonderful way to connect to those other higher aspects of yourself and unlock some of these hidden talents.
And it's funny you say that, Maty, because I had in the ayahuasca afterwards, there was a different form of light language which came through, and it wasn't a light language. It wasn't the Rasta, it wasn't the Chinese, but it was different, and it brought me. I did it afterwards, and it brought me to tears. Like it was like I felt the grandmother straight away, and as I was going through, and it's more like and it was all, instead of like loads of different voices, it was more like sound of toning, and it brought me back to the grandmothers. It brought me back to the ayahuasca journey of them being still here, and that So
these are some of the harder parts of light language for people to understand. Like this is where you really have to have faith in the process, because you've heard the way that I do it. There's about 3 or 4 main alphabets that I use at one time together, and one of them where you hear the bass tones, and that's just a pure language. So it goes like. Now that doesn't sound like anything we can cognify as words, but but it is a light language. So it just takes that effort and that belief to be able to do it.
It feels like heartbeat as well. What you just did.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's like a reptilian type species. And when they laugh, they go like this.
That's interesting because before we got on, I sat with the energy of the group, and I had a visit of a reptilian dude. I'm like, okay.
I'm looking forward to doing some light language for you.
Might busted to go. You can tell.
My husband, he comes and go. We call him Wakari, and he's a white reptilian dude. And one night, he showed my husband in his meditation how the more denser vibration of the reptilians are similar to human. They are dimension of the reptilian. They go out to work, they're part of the system, and they know that, but they come back to their family, and there's still love between them and within them, and it was just like a little reminder of compassion.
And that's it. A lot of like David Icke and all different people will give you that kind of narrative that they're all bad and dark people. They're not. You have all sides like us. You have all sides to us, all sides of the pendulum.
A dark language as well. I speak dark speak as well, and I've been able to use that to decipher certain dark codexes that have captured people's dream worlds and things like that. There's all different kinds of expressions, and it is that sacred neutrality that allows you to be able to delve into some of these subjects without going into fear or polarity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you recognise? Do you have different light languages that come through, Nalinee? Like say ancestral, or if you're talking to the ancestors, do you recognise different types of light language, or does it express itself as a combined version?
I noticed that when I'm with my drum, then my voice seems to be very much of my ancestors or my shaman guys speaking through me or singing through me. But when I do like meditation or in channeling, where I want to open the window of energy between the space a little, and then it shifts. But I find myself with my light language is more of a singing base. It's more of a very melodic, and then there will be a rhythmic verbal syllables adding in. Before, the Lyrans used to come a lot, but now I don't really care so much of where it comes from, because it just feels like it's just a higher consciousness. And it's just how we direct it and how we use it, that's all.
Exactly. I've noticed that most people that begin to speak light languages get completely and utterly obsessed with what am I saying and where is it coming from, and that's irrelevant. Yes, you can speak light languages. Now what are you going to do with it? How are you going to develop it? And if you get lost in the other stuff, you're just going to get stuck in that same place.
Yeah, I used to get lots of people come up to me and talked about the Lyran wars with the reptilian, and whether I want to be the part of the channeling group and tap into those memories, and I'm like, no. No, I just don't resonate.
I want to be here now. Here now.
Shit, not
this
mine.
is the important shit, man.
Politely said no.
Nope. Take your light somewhere else.
And I feel that sometimes it's a trap as well for that wounding side of human, that it needs some kind of validation for our pain. It needs some kind of reasoning to enhance that righteousness of that pain. While the new paradigm of consciousness, is about the neutrality, is about from this present moment, and then what are we going to do with the ability that we can tap multidimensionally?
The only validation you're going to get is your own journey.
Yeah.
How you progress. Anything else is just, you're just asking somebody else to do it for you.
Yeah. You've got to trust. I mean, you do have to trust in the beginning. Well, you have to trust all the way through, but you've got to do it so that trust is really second nature.
Well, light language is absolutely cracking the hologram of this reality. Absolutely cracking the hologram. It shouldn't be occurring as far as the system is considered. You know, it's a powerful thing. And when you approach it from the perspective of a light worker, you know, and we're using that as a derogatory term, when you are approaching it from the perspective of a light worker, then you're going to project those kind of belief systems that you have onto light language. So what you're essentially doing is making something that's infinite finite. It's just not going to work for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
it's non-agendered, isn't it? That's the thing. It's non-weaponized, non-polarized.
Unless you want it to be.
Yeah. You've got the choice.
That's what it connected to me as you were speaking about that, was the validation. And when I was in my grandmother journey, and there was a place I went to, which was a hub of interconnectivity, which was the home of the grandmothers. On my second journey, I went straight there as soon as I took the grandmother juice. Sucked on
the grandmother's nipple.
And I was, my human mind, as I was there, I was like, right, now I'm with the grandmothers and I'm in the Northern Lights, right, I'm going to just start asking these, spitballing some questions. Then I was like, right, where's my dad? Where's my grandma? And I was just all these human validation, but it's like, that's irrelevant. With the grandmothers are a collective, and they're like the ancestral connection to the tree of life. And I was so fixate on who they were, a single person, but they're like, yeah, we're all here, but we're all a collective of grandmothers. So that made me realize the bigger picture of not always needing the validation for what that person is or where they're from or what it is. It's all source. It's all like knowingness of source connection. And so there was a big ego death for me there, which was incredible, which I needed at that time as well.
The edge of unknowingness, making the unknown known.
Yes, brother, yes.
Yes, absolutely. I think I said to you, I thought the same with Two Feathers, my spirit guide, and then I realised he's actually a community of elders, really, rather than an individual.
They're always a collective. It's always a collective.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah, it resonates because when I channel now, I just tell people that you're going to chat with the guides. I don't know who exactly, but the guides. And they do not, the more we channel, I'm pretty sure that you can resonate, they do not feel like a separate entity anymore. It just feels like the higher mind speaking through maybe perhaps different tone, perhaps different kind of perspective. Yeah.
It's like, I mean, sometimes, like a lady just sent a message there about our show last night, and that's a great way to give an example of this, because, you know, at one point there was trillions of beings in my crown chakra, and so, you know, you can't process that all in one go. So there's a filter, and you don't have to focus too much on that filter. The filter is your hard work. It is the entourage that you build up around you and the connections that you have, your ancestors, your spiritual courts of equity. And it filters it for you, you know, and sometimes you can be hearing something that, and this is a grand misconception, people will say, oh, who is my spirit guide? And they'll think of it singularly as
Roger.
a person or a being. So you know, well, that voice that you're hearing, that could be 15,000 beings, of which 10,000 of those could be a collective of several million or several billion. You know, you can't use this limited perception that we have here to translate it to this kind of thing.
And your heart too, because your heart is the time traveller and the connector. Do you want to tell people how important heart work is, Nalinee, with the sort of work we are all doing?
Oh yeah, the foundation is know thyself, isn't it? Because especially me being in a city like Bangkok, and New Age and spirituality is all over the place. But then it's sometimes people focus on, let's say, how many retreats they have done, how many retreats they can organize. But the core of it is not the external achievement at all that validate how spiritual you are, and it's not even your psychic ability that validates how spiritual we are. It's the awareness of how much we can be aware of the BS inside of us and the truth inside of us.
Mm.
And I'm still a student.
Mm-hmm.
The universe still giving me people that trigger the hell out of me, and I need to check on that often.
Yes.
and often. And sometimes we just need to recognize that all of this is very much of a smoky mirror. But then again, it's a dance of the unknown and the known. It's a dance of being passive and active, and it's a dance of being in the now and yet still participating in the world in a balanced way. And that is the lesson that each of us are learning. You know, to me, even like a taxi driver can be a highly spiritual being. To me, someone who's not knowing anything about channeling or what we're talking about can also be purely aware of what one is doing, what he or she is doing. So it's all, the foundation is know thyself, the foundation is awareness, the foundation is in integrity.
Yeah, I've been saying this to so many people that so many people want to get to the skills, the high level skills, but the truth is, the great work, I mean, the hardest part for me out of all of this is not the psychic skills, it's not the things that I've learned that I can do, it's the actual working on myself, me, this Maty, in this life, and all of the programs that I've developed over the years to protect myself from the pain of the world and my life. But it's the hardest part of it, and I'll be honest, if you just focus completely on the psychic stuff and you don't do the inner work, you're going to go mad. Literally mad.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And I think it's really a good point what you made so many good points, Nalinee. Just one of them I'd just like to bring forward is we're on Earth now. So people, who get into the spiritual journey, I don't want to be here, I should be gone, I should be out of this by now. No, you're meant to be here now. And if you're on any sort of a journey where you want to help other people, it's self-healing first. That's always the mantra. And then with whatever great source connection you can get, it's anchoring it on Earth now. Because we are the beacons. We've come here now. We are the beacons of light to bring the higher density light to the Earth. Not to help the Earth, because the Earth as a planet is fine. It's for ourselves and for, let's say, humanity, if you like. But then again, everyone's on their own journey, and we can't step on that either. So I think that's beautiful, because yes, we are. I'm always saying we're off the Earth, but in the world, and we have to operate in both. It's very important, and that's part of that sacred neutral journey too. And the other point I really liked you make is you've met some very spiritual people who aren't aware they're spiritual. And I do that a lot too. There's some wonderful, wonderful human beings out there that are just walking the path not consciously aware that they're doing that. They don't have to put on the fringe cloak. It's one of Maty's favourites. and be overtly spiritual in any way, shape or form, but they are just doing their good work. So some lovely points made there.
And it's beautiful that, Laura, that even that saying, we are of the earth, and it reminded me of some songs we were singing over the weekend and how important those songs are. When you're singing it in a song situation or a dynamic of when you're singing, there's so much meaning behind it, because you can just run past what you just said then and a few people were listening to it. But when you bring it into a song and we are of the earth and you start emanating that, it changes it. And it reminded me of how important songwriting is for the grandmothers and the great remembering, that the songs are going to help people remember. And like something so beautiful, like you just said, is great, and we can hear that, but some people can't hear that, and how can you let them hear it in the message of the song? And that just kind of activated me a little bit when you said that. So it felt like singing again, bringing in
we are of the earth, and the thing is, this is our lives, these are our lives, what we're doing now, I mean, there's all this other stuff that goes with it, and I would never want to trade. I love all of the other stuff. I love all of the multidimensional stuff. But this Earth, this is where the true power is, because you are only equal to your responsibility. Your level of awareness is equal to your level of responsibility, and your level of responsibility is equal to your level of awareness. So if you're not responsible in your life, you can't have these levels of awareness that are expanded, because you're not responsible enough to have them. And if you think that you have them and you're channeling all of these things and stuff, but your life is in turmoil, you're not really actually doing what you think you're doing, because you don't have the responsibility to do it.
No, and then Nalinee's a beautiful example of how to out-create the system without trying. Because they can't touch anything that is our individual free expression, can they, Nalinee? So you've got, I mean, cooking's another one, isn't it? The system can't predict what you're going to cook and what recipe you're going to use. And it's saying you use that recipe with your art. It's because it's direct source connection. There's no way that the system can out-create that. And that's why creativity is so beautiful, and light language is one of those things, isn't it? One of those expressions.
And that's it, Nalinee, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted you to come back on the show, because you're very inspiring in how you've got a very deep, unseen connection to the infinite world, but still, from when I've known you and the years I've listened to you, each year you're different. And there's more just knowingness of the human journey coming into you, and you're actually doing the work, you're being responsible for it. It's not like I'm going to channel these motherfuckers and that's it. That's all I'm doing. You're actually grounding and how to be a human, and that's one of the most important things here. Is if you're channeling beings all the time but you don't do any work, then you're going to get hijacked at some point, because you're not going to be spiritually hygienic, clean inside and outside. And you're an example of that, and I put my hat off to you.
Thank you. Likewise.
We all do, yes, absolutely. Yeah. So how about, guys, Nalinee, would you like to maybe bring us a message in your light language, or whatever it is you'd like to do? What do you think, guys? A bit of light language?
I can bring a transmission.
We've got about half an hour left, because I've got an appointment. You can still go on if you still want to.
Half an hour is a long time.
Yeah, there we go. So we're going to no time. Forget I said that. That was just a Roman numeral projection on you. So just.
Okay, so I'd like to invite everyone, including the listener, joining us live or the replay, just to close your eyes and ease into the seat. And as we close our eyes, we give ourselves permission and reminder to return our attention and focus back into our breath, back into our bodies. Deep breath. Take a moment to feel the feet, the root, the spine, contact with this sacred Mother Earth. And let us remember our home, our heart. Welcoming the energy of this gathering, the energies of the space holders of our guides, their smiles, their love, their support. And honoring the humanness, who we are. there's any worries, any overstimulation, ground it down, give it away to Earth, so Earth can neutralize with us. Kia soyo ani io orianati anua isiana rakia si iono. We also invite if anyone would like to join. Share your expression. Share your light language with us.
Kalima tingil, sungkari dipikir lah adko arraka tingil. Nagawa hadikichin, kuhta haditikuha. 상하되 무공하인 깔무 공하이드고 까지고 언제까지
Umbawala himbawala la la shimbawala la kul umbala la kul la la umbala ki kul la 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 la
Oni kai cha cha nyo nya nya un ja nya nya ni kai ai cha nya ko nya cha o nya nya kai nya I chai ai ka o ai ya o ai ya o nya nya nyo ai cha nya a
Ia ti ia sunu ora na kaya uani ia to asi ia no ia uani ia si ia no
Mute it down.
Deep into the earth I go, deep into the earth I know, Deep into the earth I go, deep into the earth I know. Hold my hand, brother, hold my hand. Hold my hand, sister, hold my hand.
Iseliedo naiteleomawa Isheliendo la 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 riliem baruel sohore nae Dohana indelimbo dohelana Sala idelumbe anda La niliesil muhidel boeho nahidel mawe nahadiye awe.
The multi-dimensional band.
That was fun.
Wasn't it fun? That was beautiful. Your singing, everyone, was just awesome.
Oh, this is so cool. And Laura, yeah, everyone has different, and when Dale sang into Earth, I'm like, oh my God, that's such a beautiful song. And then Matt, when you come in, it's just like lots of like tickling along the spine. And I love what you can do. There's a lot of diversity of what you can do with the throat and your voice and the mouth chamber. That was amazing. Very, very fluid and grounded at the same time. And Laura is just so near to my soul because it feels very Eastern somehow as well. Oh, and I think it was Matt, when you were singing, I saw Merlin and he showed me a stone, part of stone circle, and he's like, go in. And I gave him a hug. So I think I'll go back there tonight.
Well, apparently, I don't know this. I feel it, but Andrew said mine is like a fae.
Yes, the little people.
Yes.
Yeah, I hear this quite a lot. I hear this different versions of it. Yours has a very unique frequency to it.
Right.
But I hear a lot of this, the little people language. It's one of my favourite ones.
Some lovely comments in the chat. I don't know if you can see them, Nalinee, but yeah, it's lovely. People are bumping. Yeah, it's good. I mean, that's a great healing, not just for us, but hopefully for others too.
And we're all speaking these universal truths in this show as well, and allowing everyone to express their own universal truth. This is an invitation open to everyone listening to start expressing themselves through song, through light language. As you can do it as well, you can go into that rhythm of the self and allow some darkness to be removed, the dense energies, the vomit you've built up from years and years, or trauma and so on. Things like these are so important, and to have this connection to all three of you here and go into this symbionce of music and flow and the unseen world. Incredible, and an honour, guys.
Yeah, it really is an honour to have you on, Nalinee.
Thank you. thank you. It's lovely to connect, though. Thanks to technology, we can connect regardless of distance. So.
Absolutely,
It's
yeah,
nice.
which makes it brilliant, and yeah, just a beautiful flow.
Process.
Freedom, yes.
Uploading. Computer's just going processing slowly, defragging.
Dale, you're doing a great job. I don't know how you can manage the technology at the same time doing this.
I think I jumped into the deep end because when we started working with Andrew and Laura and Maty more, I had to do I had to do most of it, so I had to learn it before we got a producer. So I'm glad that happened, because it made me not be so computer unsmart and realise I can work computers. It was just my limitations, really.
Our wonderful teacher grabbed us all and threw us in the deep end.
Yeah. Swim.
Swim or drown.
And I've not learned to swim. You'll have to fucking learn now.
No choice.
Swim. So we'll just have we'll have another few minutes left of the show, and what I'd like to do is open another invitation at some point, Nalinee, for you to come back on in a few months' time and continue, because I just feel like we've just scratched a bit of surface here, and there's so much more to talk about. And just a question I'd like to ask you, so in all of your years of the journey from the start to here and the now, what are some of the processes you'd like to share with everyone, and some things you've learned from the growth you've had throughout the years?
The more I walk this path, the more I realize how human I am, that I feel envy, that I feel anger, that I feel fear, and it's just about how I can navigate with these intensity with more awareness and more compassion towards myself and others. To me, that is the most important practice. And yes, at the same time, remembering that we just more than this, what the mental or the lower mind defines us. And things just keep getting more powerful, isn't it? Our words, our intention, how we materialize things just comes in reality so quickly. Synchronicity just boom, bang, left and right and center. And and I do feel that today I've also in connection with my soul tribe, so thank you for having me. Thanks, man.
As they say, Nalinee, we all speak the same language. When it's language in light.
So what for, if people want to get hold of you for private sessions, Nalinee, what private sessions do you offer, and where would they go?
So you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Nalinee Disosara, and you'll find link to my website as well. And what I offer are both online and in person. Reading, I at the moment really enjoy Zoom live channeling, and also being a conduit workshop, which the objective is to honor who you are individually and at the same time connect as community. And there's also a passion of sharing cacao and shamanic sound. And so if you go to my social media, you will see really of what I do and who I am, because I use social media as really a window to who I am. So thank you.
Incredible, sister. And Laura, what's coming up for you, and event-wise and session-wise?
So I'm back on Sunday with the prayer service, which really we should call the service of prayer, I suppose, put it that way round, which is, what's this one Sunday? It's the King, the Courtiers and the Oak. It's like a fairy story for adults as a prayer meditation style. So join me for that. And then I've got a pilgrimage prayer bundle coming out as a product, and lots of other things in the pipeline. Don't like to sit still. Want to get the message out there. So, and also I'm on Two Feathers Medicine, Thanks, Dale. It's Maty and especially Nalinee. That's a fabulous one.
I love that. So good.
That's brilliant.
Sorry, I just had to put it up. I saw it then I like. But yeah, Maty,
Humans are funny looking.
Thank you, Laura. And Maty, how can people get a hold of you for sessions?
Okay, everybody. So I'm a psychic surgeon, a few other different things. If you head on over to toothfeathersmedicine.com and click on my name, there's a link there for private sessions with me. Also, if you enjoyed listening to this light language and you would like to speak light language yourself, then I have a course there to get non-speakers speaking their first words. It's only 35 Great British pounds. What a bargain that is to be able to have a skill such as this. Okay, so head over to toothfeathersmedicine.com and click on my page, and there's some links there and some other products.
Incredible, Maty. And if anybody would like any psychic surgery sessions, soul retrieval sessions, head over to daletobin.com. I am also now running past life regression training. So it's basically on a one-to-one basis. So you'll learn the skills of how to be a past life regression therapist. You'll learn the skills of the importance of induction, how important they are, PMR, all the basics of past life, into more the advanced route. You'll be able to work into deep trauma as well and how to connect trauma to past lives, which is very important. Also, you'll get free sessions within the past life regression, so it'll be a deep connection into yourself. It's only been up for about a month. I've trained a few people, and the one-to-one experience is just incredible. There's some real deep values, even from me towards you who's on the training as well. There's a lot of different things which come up for us. So yeah, that's open. And yeah, what an incredible show. What an incredible show. And again, thank you, Nalinee, thank you, Maty, and thank you, Laura. And we'll dance again.
We'll keep dancing. We will keep dancing.
We'll keep dancing, yes.
Keep dancing.
We'll keep dancing, then we'll meet again.
And sing again.
Yes. Incredible, guys. Thank you so much for
Thanks,
everyone
Nalinee.
watching. And if you're listening on YouTube, drop us a subscribe or a comment or a like. I appreciate those. Good morning, good night. Thank you.
Thank you.